the latest generation of a racing royal family. His father is a NASCAR champion. For a rare weekend, the Jarretts compete at the same track with the same goal, victory. Jason Jarrett is following the path his father Dale did, learning the craft of 200-mile-per-hour racing so that one day he might play the leading role in the family business. Will a Jarrett visit Pocono's victory lane twice this weekend? Jason Jarrett tries to do his part next. TNT Sports presents the Automobile Racing Club of America. Today it's the Pepsi ARCA 200 from the Pocono Raceway in Pennsylvania. While the better-known NASCAR teams make preparations for tomorrow's Pennsylvania 500, it's time for some hungry young lions to take over the stage, hoping they can make an impression that could get them a shot at the big time. 40 drivers are set to challenge the massive 2.5-mile track for 200 miles of high-speed action as they get set to take on one of the sport's most prominent facilities. All they need to get going are 4 famous words to be spoken.
Gentlemen, start your engines!
Short period of time, today's pole sitter Stuart Kirby has made a big impression in the ARCA Series. 5 starts in the ARCA Series, 4 top 5 finishes, and he's gotten the attention of a lot of Winston Cup team owners. In fact, just this week, NASCAR President Mike Helton gave the okay. Stuart Kirby will make his Winston Cup debut at Charlotte in October. But today, he's fired up, seeking his first ever ARCA victory. Many people that think this 20-year-old young man has a great shot to pull it off today. Let's go to Matt Yoakum.
Marty, 1 month ago, Jason Jarrett continues family tradition of excellence by winning his first career big league stock car victory at the new Kansas City Speedway. Today he will start from the 4th position, trying for a second career ARCA win. And more importantly, if he goes to victory lane today, it'll be the first time his famous father has seen him win a race since 1994. Today Burns.
Two-time and defending series champion Frank Kimmel has never won here at Pocono. In fact, earlier this year they had motor problems and they were bad all day. But since they were down on horsepower, they worked on setup all day long. And this time they're up on horsepower and they're using that setup. Frank Kimmel is a very confident driver in the number 46 today. Now let's go upstairs to the man who will call today's action, Alan Bestwick.
All right, Dave, thank you. With Benny Parsons, the 1973 Winston Cup champion. Wally Dallenbach will join us shortly. Benny, you've got a background in this ARCA series. Who are these people and what kind of race we're going to see today?
Well, we're very fortunate in the ARCA circuit because we have a couple of veterans, Frank Kimmel, Tim Steele. We have some newcomers that are trying to make their mark. We talked about Stuart Kirby, and we also talked about Jason Jarrett. We also have Damon Lusk, another name out of the Northwest, and Blaze Alexander, the winner last week in Michigan. All these guys trying to get to NASCAR Winston Cup. If they can beat Kimmel, if they can beat Steele, all the Winston Cup owners, crew chiefs, they realize they've got some talent.
Certain somebody who's standing quite close to me used ARCA success to get his way into NASCAR Winston Cup racing. Now, it was a little while ago.
Well, that was back in 1968, 1969. I won a couple of championships back there, but that was really and truly what allowed me to go to NASCAR and give them a resume. Said, look, I'm an ARCA driver. I run at Daytona. They said, okay, and I got a ride, and the rest is history.
Will make his break today. The cars are rolling onto the track, and we'll find out. Dale Jarrett getting set to watch son Jason run the Pepsi ARCA 200, the green flag, when we come back to Pocono. At Pocono Raceway, it's the Pepsi ARCA 200 live on TNT. Glad that you've joined us. We're a couple of laps away from the green flag and the start of this afternoon's event. Let's take a look at the starting lineup. 20-year-old Stuart Kirby took his 2nd straight Pocono pole position in qualifying, driving for 6-time Pocono winner Bob Shack, point leader Frank Kimmel. Outside of row 1, he's got 5 wins this year. Tim Steele has won 8 of 15 Pocono races in his ARCA career, and Jason Jarrett, the 3rd-generation driver, shares row 2. Blaze Alexander's from Pennsylvania and won last week in Michigan. Damon Lusk is from Washington State. They're in row number 3. In the fourth row, Richard Mitchell is a NASCAR regional champion from West Virginia. He shares that row with Pennsylvania veteran Skip Smith, though Smith will have to drop to the back. He crashed in final practice yesterday.
Mike Swaim Jr. out of North Carolina on the inside of row 5, and Dion Ciccarelli on the outside. Back in row 6, Robert Barrows out of Mississippi. Bobby Gerhardt, who won the ARCA race at Daytona a couple of years ago. Tom Erickson, Pennsylvania boy in 7th row, and Jason Edleski in one of Junie Donlevy's rejects.
Billy Venturini, son of the two-time ARCA champ in row 8, along with Andy Belmont, the Pennsylvania veteran in the AOL Ford. Michigan's Larry Hollenbeck and North Carolina's A.J. Hendrickson in row number 9. And the 10th row, Jerry Hill, the Maryland veteran, back in the ARCA series this year, along with Donnie Morlock.
11th row, Chuck Weber and Tracy Leslie, former series champion in the ARCA division. Kevin Belmont, Andy Belmont's brother in row 12, and Norm Bennin, another Pennsylvania driver.
As you look at the rest of the grid for the Pepsi ARCA 200, we'll tell you, I mentioned that Skip Smith will have to drop to the end of the field from his starting position in row number 4 because he crashed in final practice. Also, Tracy Leslie that we saw there starting in row 11. Well, he didn't actually qualify the car. Tracy only arriving at the racetrack here this morning. So he has to go to the tail end of the field because of the driver change. The very first lap he makes in this race car at this racetrack in the weekend will be when the green flag flies.
That's quite a bit of pressure.
Not exactly a comfortable feeling.
No, it isn't. Kind of like Kevin Harvick tomorrow when he starts the Pennsylvania 500 after Wally Dallenbach been playing around with his car.
Wally's downstairs in the garage area.
Oh, I guess he wasn't. You weren't supposed to hear that, Wally. Sorry about that.
I know you're talking about me.
Yeah, and not well either. He's not talking good. How'd it go, Wal?
It went good. We made a lot of gains on the car. The car was real tight this morning. We made it a lot better. We're still not as good in turn 2, so we're trying to bounce some ideas around on how to get it through the tunnel turn, but we got some ideas. I think he's going to have a good car tomorrow.
Well, now, are you going to come up here and go to work, or are you going to hang around with those guys the rest of the day?
Well, I'm going to hang around with these guys for a little bit longer, but then I'll come up there with my pals.
All right, there you go. All right, well, we're set for the green flag. We'll talk to you later on.
Okay, guys.
1 lap away from the start in the Pepsi ARCA 200 at Pocono. We're back for the green flag after this. About a third of a lap from the green flag in the Pepsi ARCA 200 at Pocono Raceway on TNT. Race analysis. A couple of 100 miles will take 80 laps.
How about that almost $200,000 in purse pit window, 40 to 45. It just seems like that Pocono somehow, some way, it's a race always, is determined by fuel mileage.
A lot of the crew chiefs telling me this morning that the tires, the speeds you get on a set of tires really begin dropping off after 30 laps. Probably will see most of the teams make 2 pit stops in this race, though they would only need 1 to make the distance on fuel. Pace car is off. 20-year-old Stuart Kirby and 5-time ARCA winner this year, Frank Kimmel, share the front row. The crowd is on their feet. The weather's fine, and we're set to go racing at Pocono on TNT.
Kirby, the pole sitter, got a terrible start. He's going to get down in turn 1 about 3rd, 4th position.
Kimmel through with the lead. That's Jason Jarrett in the purple car on the outside, racing for 2nd. Now racing for about 4th.
The tunnel corner. We'll call that a couple of things today. Tunnel corner, turn 2. 22 car, Mike Swaim Jr., followed by Robert Barrows in 53. Trying to get alongside the 54 car, Richard Mitchell.
Don't get too high, Robert. Kimmel leads lap 1. Blaze Alexander is 2nd. Kirby, the pole sitter, back in 3rd. You've got Damon Lusk in 4th and Tim Steele, the 8-time Pocono winner, in 5th. And Jason Jarrett in 6th. And this is for 7th. Mike Swaim Jr. in the 22. Richard Mitchell in the 54. Tim Steele on the move.
That's Damon Lusk that he's going by. 4th position. Robert Barrows. Robert, be careful of that high groove. The wall's up there, remember that.
Dion Ciccarelli looking low on Burrows. Turn 3. Boy, Robert's trying that high lane, isn't he?
Tell you what, if it were to work for him, it would be fantastic, because once you start lapping cars and the tires get warm and speed starts slowing down, guys that can run up there sure have an advantage. But it's not an advantage this early in the race.
Ciccarelli from Maryland, Burrows from Mississippi.
Dion Ciccarelli, a driving instructor at the Dover Downs Driving School.
Dave Burns.
Alan, on that start, Frank Kimmel radioed in a lap before they went green and said there's a lot of rubber out here on the outside, and of course his crew encouraged him to try to get to the inside as soon as he could. Well, Tim Steele made it easy because he had such a bad start, and as for Steele, he has not said anything on the radio. I checked with Tom Sokolowski, his crew chief, and Tom said he didn't miss a shift, he didn't spin his tires, or at least we don't know that he did because he has been silent.
Still watching the race for 8th position.
That 5 car is Bobby Gearhart out of Lebanon, Pennsylvania. As I said, a winner at Daytona a couple of years ago. Oh, we got his car down in the grass. 26 car, Brad Smith. And I don't see any damage to the car. It looks like a simple spin, and we remain under green flag.
So Smith will try to come back around to the garage. Left front corner of the car pushed out and pushed in. Front pushed in, the side pushed out. The ARCA officials try to get him to turn into one of the openings on the far side of the racetrack so they can keep the race under green.
I was told that his car was smoking pretty badly before. We see no evidence of that now, but
he's been into something with that fender boat out like that.
I guess he ran into the dirt when he spun down in the corner, and the dirt caught the nose of that car and boated out like that.
We saw Tim Steele take 3rd spot away from Stuart Kirby earlier. Now this is the race for 4th.
This is their pole sitter, Stuart Kirby, the ARCA Remax camera, looking back at Damon Lusk in 10. Oh, some traffic going in the turn 2, tunnel corner.
Several cars off the pace. Got about 4 of them slow on the backside of the racetrack. Here's Lusk. Going to get it done.
Damon Lusk, the 10 driver, another one of the graduates of Winter Heat out of Tucson, Arizona.
Just underway in the Pepsi ARCA 200 at Pocono Raceway. Point leader Frank Kimmel is in the top spot. At Pocono Raceway, the Pepsi ARCA 200 is just underway, and you're watching the race for 2nd place. Blaze Alexander in the 91 and Tim Steele in the 16.
Blaze Alexander, the 91 car, the winner last week at the Michigan Speedway. I talked to Blaze, and he said, that's the best race car I've ever had. He is hooked up all day long.
Blaze from Montoursville, Pennsylvania, so this is his home track. Running a family car. If you're familiar with Blaze's career, he was in the NASCAR Busch Series the last couple of years. Things haven't worked out to his satisfaction. He's basically trying to rebuild his career, hoping to get to the Busch Series side again sometime soon. And for Tim Steele, his team has taken quite a shakeup in the last several weeks. Steele in the 16 car, the all-time leading super speedway race winner in ARCA, bought this team from his father a few weeks back.
Yeah, I was reading that release that said Tim Steele now has to make it on his own. Oh, we see Bobby Gearhart, some trouble, slow on the backstretch, and I don't know that Gearhart will be able to get back.
Will he be able to turn in somewhere and get off the racetrack, or are we going to see the caution flag? So far, we're still green.
There's no way that car's going to roll the rest of the way. It's almost stopped. Throw the caution flag, Ron Drager.
Ron's the president of ARCA. Race director Joe Wells in the booth next to us, keeping an eye on the Gearhart car and calling for the caution flag now. Yellow number 1 is out in the Pepsi ARCA 200. Bobby Gerhardt going to stop out on the back stretch after something went wrong with his car. Frank Kimmel, the leader, will come back around to the yellow flag.
And Frank Kimmel is saying, doggone the luck. Just when I had this nice lead, I had those guys back in second place racing for that position. And guess what happens? Caution flag comes out.
So an early yellow is out on the track here in Pocono. We'll take a break. We'll come back with more coverage in a moment on TNT. Pocono Raceway in the Pepsi ARCA 200 under an early caution flag. Just about to complete the 10th of 80 laps, and a couple of leaders going to come in for pit stops.
Evidently, Tim Steele could not make this race on one stop for fuel. And this is a great chance to get in, get some fuel. Dave?
And that is true, Benny. He also reported that he was a little tight off of the corner. Nothing major. They're going to make a chassis adjustment. They're also going to go down a pound in the rear. Let's go to Matt.
Dave, an update on Bobby Gerhardt's car. He was talking on the radio to his crew. He feels like it's an electrical problem. He switched ignition boxes, but to no avail. The car still will not fire. It does turn over, though, but it will not fire. Now they think maybe it could be something wrong with the distributor.
Billy Venturini, Jason Jarrett, and Tim Steele, the 3 cars among the leaders who have pitted under this caution just 10 laps in. Venturini went with just fuel. The other guys looked like took some tires.
Once again, never see Gerhardt's car in the pit area. The hood is up. Billy and the boys, that's his brother Billy, the crew chief, trying to figure out what might have happened. But I mean, 100 laps sometimes for these guys is a struggle trying to get that kind of mileage. This is a great chance to get in, get some fuel, and make it now on one more stop. And Frank Kimmel, some of these guys that chose not to stop, if they got to stop twice for fuel, shame on them.
Well, I don't believe stopping for fuel is the issue. I believe it's really a tire wear thing. But what all the crew chiefs were telling me this morning, Benny, was that after 30 laps, the lap times really fall off compared to newer tires. So Steele throwing fresh rubber on here. We'll see, 25 laps from now how that shakes out versus the leader Kimmel. Under caution early in the Pepsi ARCA 200 at Pocono on TNT. Back at Pocono, half a lap from the restart. Kevin Belmont was in that car at the start of this race. Moment ago, under this caution flag, he brought that machine down pit road and got out. Driver change. That is Scott Ritter standing there waiting to get in.
What's that all about, Matt?
BP, I spoke with the crew this morning. This was going to be a scheduled driver's change. They were going to put Scott Ritter in at the first caution. The biggest reason is because Kevin Belmont, who is the younger brother to Andy, is also Andy's front tire changer. And they did the same scenario at Michigan. He drove to the first caution, then got out of the race car so he could help pit Andy's race car.
Andy's third in ARCA points coming in. By the way, Bobby Gerhardt, the coil wire was off on his car. It's been repaired. He's back out on the track, but he's 2 laps down in 35th position.
Blaze Alexander taking a look at Kimmel. Might have him going down in turn 1. Kimmel really drives that car down in the corner, and it will be a race off 2.
Kimmel holds on. Let's mention that the lead lap cars who pitted under the yellow a minute ago, Venturini, Steele, and Jarrett, are back in 17th, 18th, and 19th.
That 10 car of Damon Lusk, as I said, he is from Washington State. His owner, Larry Finley, is from Las Vegas, California.
Las Vegas, California?
I mean,
Nevada?
Lake Tahoe, California. I'm sorry. Thank you for straightening me out there.
You really had me confused for a second.
I had myself confused, I think.
I could tell. Look at this back in the pack. Jason Nadleski in the 90. 15 cars, Larry Hollenbeck from Kalamazoo, Michigan. It's all going on from 11th spot.
38 car, interesting young guy, Tom Erickson from here in Pennsylvania. He and his brother and a couple other guys, volunteers, do all the work on that car. Tim Steele trying to fight his way back through the traffic to get back to the front.
That's 13th position he's trying to take from Hollenbeck, who didn't apparently want him to take it.
That's another car. The 15 car is owned by Larry Finley as well.
Here comes Steele. Red car with that bright tape on the nose on the right of your screen. Well, look who's joined us.
Hi, Wally.
What did I miss, guys?
You've been playing, huh?
I've been having a lot of fun out there.
Well, good.
Yep.
Now you better have some fun with us.
Yep, I will.
What's going on in the race?
This race?
Oh, you need us to catch you up on that.
Would you please?
Okay.
The 22 car is Mike Swain Jr. out of High Point. He's trying to pass the 53 Robert Burrows. Anything else you need to know?
You are on top of your game,
On top
as
of
always.
5th spot. Tim Steele took tires under this caution, started back in 17th. He was 3rd. He made a pit stop on a yellow just 10 laps into the race.
Okay.
We'll see. Steele's up in 12th now. 54 is Richard Mitchell. 19th is Tracy Leslie. Remember, Leslie started last because he didn't qualify this car. He's up to 8th.
And Mike Swain in the 22 finally.
Drive away from him now.
There you go. That's what he's telling him. Drive away from the 53 of Burrows. But can he? Remember Bob Johnson, one of the crew chiefs in the NASCAR Winston Cup for a long time? He's helping Robert Burrows on the 53 car.
I can't get over how much that car is rolling over. If you look at that car compared to the other cars, you look at the left front part of the nose, the car really rolls over, but he's actually staying pretty quick on that high line. But I don't know how long his tire's going to last doing that.
He's been out there right from the start.
Really?
Burrows and Leslie racing for the 8th position. Frank Kimmel is the race leader in the Pepsi ARCA 200 at Pocono. We'll be back with more live coverage in a moment on TNT. Frank Kimmel is the leader of the Pepsi ARCA 200 from Pocono Raceway on TNT as we bring you first of our racing doubleheader tomorrow, the Pennsylvania 500. Earlier today, final practice for that race. Wally Dallenbach getting Kevin Harvick's car ready for the Richard Childress team, and Wally has finally come back to his real job of joining us in the broadcast booth. What is this?
Well, I want to keep him on for a little bit longer. I mean, I was down there, and this guy's like, okay, Wally, thanks. You can go now. And I'm like, you sure I can't polish the wheels or anything? No, thanks for your help. I had a great time.
Wally, I mean, we understand your hands might be dirty. We'd rather you change shirts. I mean, after all, those cars are a little hot and sweaty down there, right?
That wasn't it. It was getting from there to this booth as quick as I did. I worked up the sweat.
Oh, I got you.
Not buying it for a minute. Frank Kimmel is led from the drop of the green flag. He started on the outside of the front row. He's about to complete the 20th lap of 80. You're looking at the 2nd place race now. The 91 is Blaise Alexander, and the 10 is Damon Lusk. They followed about 2 seconds behind Kimmel. And trouble for Andy Belmont.
Man, oh, man.
Off the pace.
Another Pennsylvania driver.
Yeah, for a guy who lives not far from here, Andy's from Pendle, Pennsylvania. He's never had much luck here. His best finish at this racetrack, and he's been running here for about 15 years. His best finish is a 10th.
We can hear the America Online camera. The car was still running, so I don't know what the problem is. Back to the battle for 2nd spot between the 10, Damon Lusk, the 91 of Blaise Alexander.
Do you see that smoke come out of the back of Blaise's car there?
No.
Yeah.
Yeah, getting in the corner, he had some smoke come out.
Dropping back, this would be for 4th place, Stuart Kirby in the 75 and Mike Swain Jr. in the 22. See that big logo on the hood of that 75 car?
Right now.
20 years old. While we're riding along with this Stuart Kirby, the driver of the 75. 21 years old.
You see the logo on the hood of that car. That is a logo of the Boy Scouts of America. This week is the annual Boy Scout National Jamboree. They got 38,000 scouts down at Fort A.P. Hill, Virginia. And this team, the Bob Schacht racing team, has a race car or two down there on display for the scouts to see. And so they're kind of in a little promotional partnership here. Here goes Swaim Jr. on the move. Marty?
Well, Stuart Kirby started on the pole, as we talked about, Alan, and looks like he's going to lose 4th place here. He was tight early on, and Bob Schacht, the coach, said, just don't drive it in too hard. Float it into the corner a little bit. Try to get back to the gas sooner. I was joking around with Frank Kimmel earlier this week, and he said, you know, Bob was a pretty good race car driver, but he's kind of like Pat Riley or Phil Jackson. He makes a much better coach than he did a race car driver.
I don't know about that. Bob won here at Pocono 6 times in ARCA competition.
And it looked like going into turn 1 that last time. He probably did carry it in there a little bit too deep, which sent the car up the racetrack and lost 2 spots. When you get a car that comes underneath you coming off of 1, the guy down on the inside has position for turn 2. You really can't drive through there side by side and beat a guy off of 2.
4th place, Tim Steele on the move. Steele dropping back after taking tires under the caution at lap 10, restarting 17th. He's just taken 4th from Mike Swaim Jr. Larry Hollenbeck in the 15, Jason Jarrett in the 67, racing for 10th.
And watch Jarrett just close up in the middle of the tunnel corner. We see his dad, DJ, up in the corner of the screen watching his son go around the north straightaway at the Pocono Raceway.
Jason started in 4th, dropped back in the opening laps. Here he comes to try and get 10th from Hollenbeck. I talked with Jason this morning. He said yesterday in final practice, at the beginning of a run on a set of tires, their car was very, very loose and would get, very tight, and it would get better as the run went. It would loosen up for him. So they were hoping that would play out this way in the race. He would drop back some at the start, and then the car would come to him, and he would start to move forward again.
But he pitted on that first caution flag and chose to make a tire change and an adjustment on his car. So it's not too bad right now. Tim Steele is the guy I think that's on the move.
So Jason Jarrett into 10th position. He's got a little distance before he can catch the next car in front of him, Richard Mitchell, who's in 9th. Mixing it up for 6th place. Stuart Kirby continuing to slip back. That's Tracy Leslie right behind him.
That was Norm Bennett in the 84 car that they passed off the flat corner, turn 3.
I don't think that 75 is just, he's not getting that car to turn it the way he wants. He started down in there like he was going, and then it almost looks like it's loose getting in.
Trouble, turn number 1. Got a car in the wall. Jason Hudleski and Junie Donlevy's machine. Caution's out.
I tell you what, when they're sitting there and you can't see the back end at all, that's pretty hard contact. See Jason moving around in the car.
Dropping the window net, which is his signal to the safety workers that they don't need to be in a rush to get to him. Window net. So the second caution is out. Let's take a look at what happened to Hudleski, the team manager for Donlevy Racing.
Just loose in by the looks of it.
I'm not sure this guy right there did not make some contact. The 54 car.
That's a 64. That's 94 rather. Ciccarelli.
Oh, it was?
Yeah.
Not too sure there was some contact there. The white car on the inside.
He started losing it before. I don't think the 94 hit him.
You're right. You're exactly right. No contact at all. Good eyes there, Wally.
One for Wall.
Boy. But the result was the same.
Exactly. The result was the same.
Although the 94s breathe a little bit of relief.
So caution number 2 in the Pepsi ARCA 200 for Jason Hudleski's crash down in turn number 1. And the cleanup workers with a lot of work to do, as you can see. The way that wall faces back at you, you actually turn around farther than 90 degrees through that corner. And the way that wall turns back at you, you hit hard when something goes wrong there.
It's that doggone rate of speed you're carrying in the corner at 190 miles per hour. And something happened. Sure, he had slowed down. He had brake for the corner. He had slowed down. And in spinning, he also slowed down. But it's still, he had to be running over 100 miles per hour.
Well, like Kenny Schrader says, you know, the walls are just too close to the racetrack.
Yeah, exactly. Then move those out about 100 yards, be okay.
Much better.
All right, 26 laps in when they come back around. Pit road will be open. You're the leader, Kimmel. Do you stop?
Well, there's no, if he's going to try to make it on one stop, there isn't any point to stopping right now. But if the car is starting to go away, if he needs some tires, then he will. But this will not, if he's planning on making it one stop, no, he would not pit now.
Based on what the teams told me this morning, he's stopping for tires.
Looks like it.
Looks like he is.
And I guess if I was Steele, I may as well now because I'm in 4th spot.
Yeah. You're right there with the guys. You have position. And here comes Tim Steele. You're right. All the leaders coming down pit road.
Of this caution flag and bring the HSI car.
We cover pit stops. Dave Burns.
And Alan, they could not make it on one stop. They could only go about 36 laps on a load of fuel, so he needed to make 2 stops today. Leader Frank Kimmel. No changes to the car right now. It's pretty good, although they have lost a coil, which is not a problem. He flipped over to the other one, and they will get a backup just in case. Matt.
Jason Jarrett makes his 2nd stop of the day. Reason being his car is still ill handling. He sits very tight in all 3 corners, so they are making an air pressure adjustment on both right side tires. He's down and away to Marty Snyder.
Blaze Alexander is in. He was running 2nd. He has pit crew members from Robert Presley's team and Elliott Sadler's team helping him out. 4 tires, no adjustments. Car's a little bit hot. They took some tape off. He is down and away, and he will win the race off pit road.
First lead change of the day. Blaze Alexander beating Frank Kimmel out. Jason Jarrett out 3rd. Tim Steele 4th, and Tracy Leslie 5th. Under caution in the Pepsi ARCA 200. Cleanup continuing at Pocono Raceway from where Jason Hedleski crashed down in turn number 1, putting us under caution in the Pepsi ARCA 200. On the pit stops a moment ago, this is Andy Belmont's team. Get out of the way, guys.
Yeah.
Watch. He just realizes. Oh!
He almost took a header. You know, when that car drove off, he almost went fap on his nose.
And we saw Belmont slowing on the track earlier before the caution flag. Now he's back up to speed. We'll get a pit report in a moment. Wendy's race menu later today on NBC at 3:30 Eastern Time. Kevin Harvick and the NASCAR Busch Series troops in the Napa Auto Care 250 from Pikes Peak Raceway in Colorado Springs. Then tomorrow it's the Winston Cup Series Pennsylvania 500. NASCAR on TNT at 12:30 Eastern Time. Let's go to Liz Allison.
Hey guys, look who I found. I found DJ doing what he does best, being a dad today. Dale, how is it for you watching your son out there racing?
A little nerve-wracking at times, but I know that he's got a good race car, a safe car. The guys do a great job, and he's got a lot of experience. So, you know, it's just you want him to do well, and I think that's the hardest thing is I wish that there were things that I could tell him about this track, but he's got to really feel those. I can help him a little bit, but I want him to do well.
We talked to him earlier, and he mentioned that as well, that you were able to share a little bit of info, but these cars are different.
They are different. The tires are different, and obviously with the experience that I've had here, there are things that I know about the track. I can relay some of them, but making that work with his setup and everything doesn't always work. So I've seen a couple of things here today. Hopefully he'll do a little bit better. He's doing a great job. Looks like he's got a very good car. The pit crew did a great job there, so hopefully it'll translate into a good day.
I hope it will, too. I know that Dad would like that, and Jason, too. Alan, back to you.
You know, what DJ was saying there is so true, but the best thing DJ is doing for Jason is putting him in good equipment, safe equipment, with good people around him. And that's more than half the battle.
Jason Jarrett running in 3rd position behind Blaze Alexander and Frank Kimmel. Will come back for the restart in just a minute on TNT. Underway in the Pepsi ARCA 200 at Pocono. Blaze Alexander leads on the restart. Man on the move is Tim Steele. He's going to get 3rd from Jason Jarrett.
And also, Tracy Leslie, the 19, drives under Jarrett and takes that spot away.
Jason left him a lot of room when he saw him coming. It's Blaze Alexander leading. Second is Frank Kimmel. There are those two drivers. Kimmel led the first 26 laps of this event.
Not so fast. I thought Frank had him. Yeah.
Wow.
Go. You're clear. You're clear. Too early, Blaze. Too early to fight. We'll get him in the end.
But you double clutched for a second. You double clutched for a second.
Yeah. I thought that Frank had a great run on him, and then when I saw that shot, I said, whoops, I don't know if he's going to make that pass or not.
Let's go to Marty.
Well, they're right. It is too early for Blaze Alexander to fight those battles now. Now, they wanted to win the race off pit road for several reasons. One, obviously, the track position. But two, his car is running a little bit hot. So when they're out front, it helps him a little bit. So probably what you'll see him do here is fall back from Frank Kimmel. That is by design. They think they are as good as Frank Kimmel, but they'll fall back from him trying to get clean air to that radiator.
Question is, are they as good as Tim Steele, who's closing fast in third?
The thing is, you can't fall back too far, because then if you lose that draft, that's going to hurt you. So and you've got Tim Steele coming up right behind you, so you can't drop back too far.
And Tracy Leslie, the 19 car, has moved up to 4th spot, and looks like he's coming with the 16 car of Tim Steele.
Let's go back and check on Andy Belmont, running in 16th position. Remember, we saw Belmont slow, and then the crew push him off pit road. He is still on the lead lap and trying to pick his way back through traffic. Dave, what's going on with that car?
Alan, they only have third gear, and that makes it very hard to get the car off of pit road. The good thing about only having third and not having fourth is that the third is a high gear. Fourth is only for overdrive, so we can still race the car in that third gear, but every time they come into the pits, they're going to be messing with that. And there really is no miss in the motor. That was just part of the transmission scenario they were working through with Andy. Also talking to Kevin Belmont, his crew chief, they want to try to make it to about lap 40 and get in their pit window. So, Alan, apparently they feel that they can go 40 laps to the end of the race.
That would be interesting.
Yes.
I'm telling you, people told me that this morning. One-stop race. They could do it on fuel.
Now, I don't know if he can do it on third gear. I don't know what he's turning RPM-wise, but I would think, Benny, don't you, that he's probably sucking up more fuel than the guy that's shifting into fourth?
Probably it. Well, he's so slow off that flat corner, he probably isn't turning too many RPMs down at the end of the long straightaway on the front stretch.
5th, 6th, and 7th. Jason Jarrett in the 67, Mike Swain Jr. in the 22, and Robert Burrows in the 53. When we talked with Jason Jarrett during our happy hour coverage, we saw the big purple monkey. Trying to get the monkey off their back. They did that back at Kansas Speedway when Jason Jarrett got his first ARCA win. Just lost a spot there.
Mike Swain takes over that spot. Jason Jarrett's car just isn't right today. He was up in 3rd spot on the restart. He's now fallen back to the 6th position. And Robert Burrows making a challenge on the outside. So just not exactly right yet.
Have you ever seen someone be so dedicated to the outside lane here at Pocono as Robert Burrows has been from the drop of the green?
I'll tell you what, it's the first thing I noticed when I came up here. But he's making it work for himself, and that's good. I mean, the car's freer up there, and he's not losing a lot of RPM, so it's working for him.
Burrows up to 6th, kicking Jason Jarrett back to 7th. Burrows, a 48-year-old from Laurel, Mississippi. And we look in on the leader, Frank Kimmel. Back out in front after Blaze Alexander led a couple of circuits. He's putting some distance on it.
46 car looks strong. He's down on the bottom in 3. Very fast through 3, which that's where you want to be fast here at Pocono.
There's Blaze Alexander, the 2nd place runner.
You know, talk about a weird deal, Wally. The 46 car, Frank Kimmel, this is the Ford Taurus that they're racing here. On the short tracks, they race a Chevrolet. They run a Ford on the large tracks and a Chevrolet on the short tracks. How about that?
That's pretty smart.
Yeah. Well, they feel like they can get more downforce with the 46 car on the larger tracks. That's not as necessary on the short tracks, and they have a lot of Chevrolet equipment they're trying to use up. They're doing it on the short tracks. Next year, they feel like they might have all the stuff to the point they will run a Ford every place.
Are they? And they have 2 completely different engine builders?
No, the same guy is doing both.
Doing both?
This is back in traffic, 14th, 15th, and 16th. The 23 is Ron Cox. The 38 car trying to make the move is Tom Erickson, and the 15 is Larry Hollenbeck.
Ron Cox from Soddy Daisy, Tennessee. You knew some Soddy Daisy, Tennessee?
No. That's the first I've heard of that place.
You're about to tell us. Are you going to tell us?
Danny Shirley, the lead singer for the Confederate Railroad.
That's the first I heard of them, too.
Yeah. That's a country band.
Okay.
You're not into... Oh, I see.
Stick with Benny a while. He'll tell you a few things that you didn't know.
Or really didn't want to know?
Yeah, that could be it, too. Andy Belmont working some lap traffic. Laps from halfway. In the Pepsi ARCA 200 at Pocono, point leader Frank Kimmel is out in front. Coming up on halfway in the Pepsi ARCA 200 at Pocono Raceway, Frank Kimmel is the leader. Jeffersonville, Indiana driver, defending ARCA Series champion and current point leader. He's led all but 3 laps of the event so far. We're at lap 38. TNT's new original series, Witchblade, is a hit. Take a look.
See the story of a woman who started out a cop and became something more.
What are you? Justice.
Witchblade on TNT.
Fall under the spell of Witchblade, Tuesday nights at 9 p.m. on TNT.
I started out as a nice guy, and look, I ended up with you two guys.
Well, I'll tell you what. That reminds me of somebody when my wife gets mad at me.
Oh.
But she never does.
And you know what? We can get her the tape of that just to use. Hey, looky here. The only driver to become an ARCA and NASCAR Winston Cup champion.
Hey, I like that.
Old BP.
These fellas have done their research, huh?
How far back did they have to look to find that stuff?
Well, if the paper was yellow, I'll tell you that. As a matter of fact, Frank, you ever see Tim Steele has caught the 91 car of Blaze Alexander. I think that Alexander had some problems getting by the 84 car of Norm Bennett.
I think Tim Steele had some problems. I think he just motioned out the window that, thanks, buddy. Maybe move over next time. I don't know if we'd want to get a close-up of that, but...
Drivers don't do those kinds of things.
No.
It's very gentlemanly activity.
I will say this. The leader of this race is Frank Kimmel, and he has gray hair in his head. I raced with his father in ARCA, Bill Kimmel.
Yep. Let's get an update on our third-place runner, Tim Steele, from Dave Burns.
Alan, as he races in third and tries to move toward the front, his crew chief tells him that it's the fastest the car has been all day, and yet it's the car that... yet Tim is upset with the car. He does not like it. He says it's pushing in the corners, and he really wants a change. So, Wally, I was going to ask you, in that situation, what do? You've got a car that you don't like, but your crew chief tells you, hey, you're fastest you've been, and you're going to the front.
Hang on, Dave. We'll get back to that in just a second. We've just seen the end of a Ron Cox spin. No caution.
I tell you what.
Did he hit anything?
I don't think so. And he did this in turn 2, the tunnel corner, and there's not many people that can say they spun there and did not crash, didn't hit something.
That takes a lot of talent and a lot of luck.
A lot of luck, mostly luck.
No caution. We stay under the green. Here's a look at what happened.
All by himself, he comes off the corner. Oh, he's coming off the corner.
Yeah, right.
That explains why he didn't hit something.
Still lucky. Good save. Here's another look.
Oh, he was loose way back there.
Oh, he almost caught that wall, but he didn't. Attaboy, Ron.
Kind of got behind on his steering there.
The folks in Soddy Daisy will be very proud of you.
That is a Chattanooga area community, isn't it?
That's exactly right.
You guys are like Rand and McNally. You know where everything is.
Simon and Garfunkel.
Abbott and Costello.
Haldeman and Ehrlichman.
Can go on and on.
Yeah. So Ron's on pit road getting service. He's going to lose at least 1 lap, probably 2, as Frank Kimmel comes off the corner to overtake.
Getting back to the Tim Steele thing, though, it is frustrating when you've got a car that's pushing and you just came in for a pit stop and you've got to hang on till the next pit stop.
Lap 43, brought to you by STP. The next pit stop's not going to come for some time, if at all.
You know, depending on where it's pushing, you don't know if it's pushing going in or pushing coming off, pushing to the center.
We know that those guys will stop once more, Benny.
Benny's not jumping on that.
I mean, he goes in there and they tell him stories and he believes everything that they say. And instead of checking with us and verifying it before he says it, puts it on the air, you see.
And he's representing us when he says something like that.
Here's our Midas 100-mile checkup. 3 leaders. Frank Kimmel, though, has been the man out in front most. Blaze Alexander got off pit road first on a set of stops, led a couple of laps. Larry Hollenbeck led 1 under the caution. For the most part, it has been Frank Kimmel all the way. A couple of quick yellows. Jason Hudleski involved in the only crash of the day. It has been all the 46 cars so far.
I'll tell you what, Dave. Oh, you ever see a battle between Jason Jarrett and...
It's Damon Lusk.
Is that Damon Lusk in the 10? Damon's fighting his way back. He was up in second spot when he made that pit stop back several laps ago. Oh, a pole sitter.
Stuart Kirby coming in. The attention of the Bob Shack team.
Now then, this might be a plan. They might be stopping now, thinking they can go the rest of the way. If the caution comes out, they'll stay on the racetrack and try to be in position to get track position.
Marty?
Well, we'd love to say it's planned, Benny, but it is a clutch problem for Stuart Kirby. And, Wally, they do need their clutch. And I don't think they have one of those Jericho transmissions in. They're going to try and check it out and see if they can maybe fix the problem. But it is indeed a clutch problem for Stuart Kirby.
Tough luck there for the Jeremy Mayfield protege from Kentucky.
You know, a clutch problem, it's just possible that they do have a Jericho transmission. Well, Marty said they did, so that's probably the case. I was thinking they might have a real high first gear and burn the clutch up trying to leave the pits a moment ago.
Which a lot of people do, Benny, here for Pocono. They'll run that tall first gear, and it kills these clutches getting out of pits.
Car leaving a little smoke behind it. Got another one smoking here down the front stretch. Looks like Richard Mitchell in the 54 car.
Oh, man.
Brewston Mills, West Virginia driver. Marty?
Oh, and Alan, they had such high hopes today. This is the car that finished 5th at Michigan for Richard. They were up to 5th, and he dropped a cylinder very early on in the race, and now he just says, obviously, the engine has expired completely. They had such high hopes coming into today. They started 7th, but obviously it will be an early day for Richard Mitchell.
Richard has the highest winning percentage of about anyone in local short track racing the last couple of years. He is a 2-time NASCAR Northeast Region champion, running a couple of tracks in Western Pennsylvania. He told me earlier this weekend they will know who I am within a couple of years.
That's good.
Wasn't being cocky, but said, we've got our plan together.
Hey, nothing wrong with stating the fact if you can back it up.
Yeah. So Mitchell goes to the sidelines. Question is, will he turn the car in or will he bring out the caution?
Stuart Kirby, the pole sitter, made that unscheduled stop. He's back in the pit, so.
Then he hangs a left before he gets all the way to his pit stall.
Yeah, I think
goes
that's
into the garage.
true.
If he fried the clutch, it's probably slipping bad.
Yeah. That's why he can't run.
You ride to the locker room with Stuart Kirby. Meantime, everything is fine for Frank Kimmel. Out in front by 9/10 of a second over Blaze Alexander. Kimmel already a 5-time winner this year in ARCA competition. His brother is his crew chief. They told me some hilarious stories on practical jokes they've played on each other this morning. We'll try and pass along a couple of them in just a short while. First, we need a commercial break. Just past halfway in the Pepsi ARCA 200 from Pocono on TNT. The Braves travel to the Gateway City to take on Mark McGuire and the Cardinals. TBS has all the action. It's Tuesday and Thursday at 8 Eastern Time. Braves baseball on the Superstation. I wonder if the Braves play the Red Sox anymore this year.
Might play them in October.
Ooh, could be. Weber's War Wagon poll. Who's going to win tomorrow's Pennsylvania 500? Log on to NASCAR.com and cast your vote. Jeff Gordon, so far your pick.
And down in 9th spot, you see Fans Choice. Wally Dallenbach would fit in that group.
Yeah, that's everybody that's not listed there. If your driver, your pick is not listed among the individual names, you pop in Fans Choice. Had another 10,000 folks vote since qualifying yesterday.
Did you vote for me, Benny?
I haven't logged on yet, but I will call my wife, have her log on, and vote for
Yeah,
her.
he hasn't figured out how to power a computer up yet.
I know it's got a switch someplace that turns it on. I just haven't found it yet.
I'll send my 10-year-old over. He'll fix it right up.
Yeah. Frank Kimmel leading Blaze Alexander. Alexander was closing in, looked like a potential challenge for the lead. And now Frank has reestablished his advantage.
Hear him bouncing off the limiter there? Right before he gets into turn 2, he's holding third gear from 1 to 2, and he's on the limiter getting into 2.
And third gear, folks, is 1 to 1. It's like fourth gear or high gear in your vehicle. All right, some traffic right in front of the leader. How's he going to negotiate it? Can Blaze get a run on him? Could be.
Put a lap on Tom Erickson, the 14th place car, and Andy Belmont in the 1, who's in 13th.
Three car length behind you.
Blaze, I cued you to pass him. I mean, he must not have heard me. Yes, he didn't hear me.
Let's see if we can hear the limiter go off. Coming off of 1 here, carrying third gear through. Nope, not that time.
6th place, Damon Lusk in the 10, trying to get by Robert Burrows in the 53. With lap traffic complicating things.
That's no problem for Robert. He's running high groove.
Don't go into that corner on the outside, Robert. It would not be pretty.
I talked to Robert yesterday a little bit. I enjoyed my conversation very much. We talked about the trucking business, which he does down in Mississippi. We also talked about the chicken business.
Because you are in the chicken business.
We talked about it, just various things.
And not just the chicken eating business.
Oh, really? Well, that's where the trucking comes in.
It was too easy.
Oh, you fellas.
It was just too easy. Sorry, VP. Who am I kidding? No, I'm not. It was too easy.
You see that 6-car Tim Mitchell? You know what he does? He has a skating rink, or, you know, where you go roller skates. And he says that the Christmas parade in Fayetteville, Tennessee, he roller skates the entire parade, advertising for his company. I thought that was interesting.
There you go.
And you are one of the best I've heard when it comes to roller skating.
Rollerblades.
Oh, you've heard that, huh?
Yeah.
You're like Alan. You believe everything they tell you.
Check this out. 2nd place car in some lap traffic, needing to keep up with Frank Kimmel. Excuse me, I need to get past.
That's Hollenbach in the 15 and Blaze Alexander. But that was close.
We saw a guy lose a race, a chance to win a race at Chicagoland a few weeks back, NASCAR Busch Series. Ryan Newman chasing Jimmy Johnson in the final laps and ran into the back of a car like that when he misjudged his closing rate on that lap machine. Gotta be careful.
So at least Blaze did not misjudge.
But look how far away Kimmel's gotten. This is out the back of Kimmel's car. We'll shift to 4th gear there.
He's still less than a second and a half behind Frank Kimmel. Tim Steele has fallen back to a little over 5 seconds behind these 2 cars. So I can see why he was complaining. Tim Steele was complaining to his crew chief because they still haven't figured out exactly what they need on the 16 car. I know what they need. Caution flag, another pit stop, 4 tires, another adjustment.
Yep. Pole sitter for today's race, Stuart Kirby, went to the garage a short while ago. Marty Snyder's with him.
Well, Alan, you made a mistake earlier, so we'll give you one. That's yours for this month, and I made a mistake earlier. They are running a Jericho transmission, and the clutch was a problem. Stuart, did you have any indication that it was going to be going bad?
No, you know, after that restart, the motor loaded up on me, got kind of behind. We freed the car up a ton. The Boy Scouts of America Ford Taurus was running awesome, you know, after we freed it up. And just coming out of 1 over there, the clutch started slipping, and, you know, I don't know what caused it. Just started slipping, so we weren't able to finish the race.
All right, Stuart Kirby, our pole sitter, out early today.
Snyder, don't try to justify your errors by trying to point out mine.
Hey, Marty, do me a favor and ask Stuart what kind of first gear they had in that car.
All right, I'll do that right now, Benny. Hold on 1 second, all right?
Yep.
I'll get back to you.
Got to go get him back out of the truck.
I saw him bouncing in the truck.
12 car lengths, a lot of room behind you.
It's Larry Clement, the team owner for Frank Kimmel, also serving as the spotter. Coming up on the back of Ron Cox, who we saw with that spin off this corner, the second turn a little while ago. And look at just getting hung up in that traffic, how quickly Blaze Alexander closed in. Go ahead, Marty.
Hey, Parsons.
Yeah.
213 first gear.
213. Yeah, that's
okay.
That's not bad.
That's not bad.
That's not bad at all.
I don't know if Kevin Harvick is watching this race or not as we speak, but Kevin, change first gear. Please. I don't want to see that bite you.
24 laps to go on the Pepsi ARCA 200 at Pocono. Frank Kimmel and Blaze Alexander are fighting it out for the win. Tune in to TNT this August for Glory's last shot as two-time defending champion Tiger Woods look to defend his title, the 83rd PGA Championship from the Atlanta Athletic Club.
Here's a guy that's trying to make it 2 wins in a row. Blaze Alexander won last week. He's down pit road to Marty Snyder.
Oh, Benny, have these guys been good today? Now, they're not going to make any changes on the stop. It will be a 4-tire stop and fuel only for Blaze. Car still running just a little bit hot. Again, he has crew members from Robert Presley's team as well as Elliott Sadler's team. They think they are better than Frank Kimmel on the longer runs. Frank Kimmel is better on the shorter runs. He has a little left front fender damage. As you can see right there on the left front where the tire changer is, just a little bit of damage. They are saying that's going to hurt them just a little bit, but they think they're going to be very good. We're going to have a long run to finish. Frank's trouble on the left rear. Down and away, 4 tires.
19.9, remember that number for when Frank Kimmel comes in to compare the stops.
See, when he caught the 15 car of Hollenbach, we said no damage on the car of Blaze Alexander, but that could be that left fender could come back to bite him. There's Billy Venturini, the 25 car in front of the leader, Frank Kimmel.
Billy's in 10th place, last car on the lead lap. Billy, the son of the two-time ARCA champion, Bill Venturini.
Had a 3rd place finish at Michigan last week.
Got a lot going on in the Venturini household. Billy's getting married this Thanksgiving. The Venturini's daughter, their other child, getting married New Year's.
Wendy?
I told Bill, just buy the tux, don't rent it. Lap down to the leader now.
Now then, Frank Kimmel's spotters are now, they've got to be clocking the 91 car and see how much faster. Okay, here's Kimmel going. Oh, he's going to the pits. Man, that's a low line. He's coming off the corner. But they've got to clock the 91 car and just figure out how much time they're losing to Blaze Alexander and how long they can afford to stay on the racetrack if Blaze Alexander is that much faster.
Here's Tim Steele. 2nd place car now after the pit stop by Alexander. On pit road, Dave Burns.
The last word from crew chief Tom Sokolowski was 4 tires, clean the windshield, and fuel. No adjustments to that tight condition he was experiencing. The car must have come back to him a bit. And again, he was still running pretty quick laps out there. So the crew goes to the right side. A little bit slow, but they're back around to the left side now. Tim Steele gets a cool drink of water. And this many-time ARCA winner will look to get out of here. They cleaned off the grill in the front, and he is gone.
Plenty of room.
They did have what looked like a lug hung on the right rear tire, but they still got him out faster than Alexander's crew. Marty?
High Point, North Carolina driver Mike Swaim Jr. is in. It'll be a 4-tire stop. No adjustments. They're having a great run. He was running 6 when he came down pit road. Pretty happy with the car right now. It'll be 4 tires, no adjustments for Mike Swaim Jr.
Go, let's go.
Oh, and he killed it.
Cost him a lot of time. So the question becomes now, when does leader Frank Kimmel stop? He was last in at lap 26. We're at lap 61. 35 laps he's gone.
And he's still running a good speed. And checking Blaze Alexander's speed last time, they ran about the same thing, so he's not giving that much. Matt Yoakum.
The 67 car of Jason Jarrett hits pit road for his final stop. They're going to back up the air pressure, go back to their pressures before the last stop because it hurt Jason too much in turn 1, making his car too loose. And it didn't help the car in turns 2 and 3, which was still tight. This will be a 4-tire stop, and it did make a chassis adjustment. A good stop by Jarrett, and he's down and away.
See Andy Belmont's crew pushing him away again. Remember, he's only got 3rd gear. So Jarrett and Belmont rejoin the fight. Keeping an eye on the leader, Frank Kimmel. When will he come to pit road? Hearing some chatter, monitoring his team radio. They may look at doing a 2-tire stop.
Wow. Try to get all that position. They could probably do that in about 10 seconds, which would give them a huge advantage over Blaze Alexander, who spent 20 seconds in the pit area.
But if the caution comes out,
one more slow car coming off.
Then he's only got 2 tires, and the guys who will then be bunched up behind him have 4. That'd be the gamble they're taking.
Let him know whether you want 2 or 4 this time, Franco.
Larry Clement, team owner and spotter. Frank's crew chief is his brother Bill.
What would you do, Benny?
I think I would change 4 tires. I mean, the car has been dominant all day long. Why would you want to take any kind of chance
I
right
think we
now?
ought to go 4, Franco.
There you go.
Everybody else has got 4, and they're still getting out on the lead lap. Okay, pit this time, Franco. This is lap 64.
That was critical in getting
4 car lengths back to the 17 car behind you.
their decision.
Speed up as long as you can before you get to pit road.
See Frank letting that car behind him know that he's going to be slowing down. Now he's going to get down to the pit road speed limit.
Down 3,500 second gear at the line. 35 second. Here he is, guys.
The leader's in with 17 laps to go.
In the middle. Go to his left. Pull in on the left side of that 15 car.
Look at that. Larry Hollenbeck's car just stopped in the middle of pit road. Dave?
And that was a huge concern, Alan. Larry stopped right here. They told Frank, you heard it on the radio, go to the left. Go to the left of the 15 car. They considered 2. He keyed back the radio. I don't think you heard this part. Frank said to Bill, whatever you think, Bill. And Bill, as you heard, said 4 tires. But they're having a problem getting the jack up on the left side now. And the left side is, in fact, going to cost them time. They were running with the 91 car, equal laps on the track. But this is a long stop. Marty Snyder.
500 second gear.
Dave, what a terrific run today it's been for Tracy Leslie. Started at the back of the field because, frankly, his first laps on the track were just this morning when he got out on the first laps of the race. So they've been having a terrific run. He was up to 2nd when he came in. 4 tires on the stop for Tracy Leslie. They will make no adjustments. This is a very inexperienced pit crew, so all these stops taking a little longer than you would normally see on a Winston Cup team. A little trouble on the left rear. Tracy Leslie losing some time here on pit road as they finish up the lugs on the left rear. And a long stop for Tracy Leslie, who came in running 2nd.
Got a new leader after the problems on the pit stop for Frank Kimmel. As he gets back up to speed on the racetrack, Blaze Alexander will take over the top spot with just 16 laps to go.
And unless there's a caution flag, there's no way that Frank Kimmel can run him down. Again, no way. Obviously, there's a way. A lot of distance for Frank Kimmel to make up.
Kimmel didn't only come out 2nd, he came out 3rd. Tim Steele is between himself and the leader. There's Kimmel way at the top of the screen.
That's what 5 seconds in the pits, losing 5 seconds in the pits. That's how much track distance you lose.
Wow. Trouble with the jack on the leader's pit stop. Drops him back to 3rd. Blaze Alexander's in position to get a home state win at Pocono. Blaze Alexander has taken over the lead in the Pepsi ARCA 200 at Pocono. 13 laps to go, Napa Field summary. Just a couple of caution flags in this one, a lot of attrition. The big number, lead changes, that 5th and final one so far, coming as a result of green flag pit stops when Frank Kimmel's crew had trouble.
And if you're accustomed to watching, NASCAR Winston Cup pit stops, and you see him knock off those 14, 15-second pit stops, and you saw the 91 car Blaze Alexander's, and you saw his 19.9, you're going to say that's a terrible pit stop. But in the ARCA series, that's not bad because these guys, these pit crews all do something else other than pit crew and work on race cars. They're firemen, and they work at the hardware store, and they work at the plant.
Your neighbors. Ooh, is that a little smoke I saw from under his car when he changed gears?
Yep, I saw that.
You said you saw that?
I saw that earlier. Yeah.
Alexander out in front by 1.9 seconds over Tim Steele. And Frank Kimmel is 8.3 seconds back. Dave Burns.
And standing by with Bill Kimmel now. They're looking down the track, going to see if they get a yellow or not. Bill, with this few laps left in that deficit anyway, Frank can catch them?
I don't know. We're running a little faster right now. The advanced auto parts forward's been good all day long. We just messed up here in the pits. I don't know. I'd like to see a yellow right now. I do know that.
They were looking hard down the track, guys, hoping that they would get that yellow. And Bill confirmed with me they had a little trouble with the jack on this side. He said the post was a little bit low, but, you know, we just missed it, and we'll get them next time.
Billy Venturini's car with some problems on pit road. Had to put the fire extinguishers to it.
Robert Burrows, 53, in 4th position. Mike Swaim in 22 trying to take it away. And Robert is still running that high line. Didn't work for him that time, though.
Swaim Jr. cleanly by off of turn 3. Well, here comes Burrows back on the outside.
That away, Brandon, that away.
Mike to 4th. There's Billy Venturini out of his car. He was coming down pit road because he'd been given the black flag for speeding, leaving pit lane. Something went wrong when he came in. Dave, go ahead.
Well, let's see if we can get with Billy right here. Billy, what happened coming down pit road there?
I'm not real sure. I think it had some kind of fuel fire of some sort. Went to leave pit road. Underneath caught on fire, and the cockpit started spilling up with fire and smoke. Just a bad deal. I want to thank Cedar Ridge RV for helping us this week. Hopefully we'll be better next week.
All right, they'll try again, and as you guys know, if you're driving around the track, even one lap with all that smoke coming into the cockpit, not an easy thing to do.
New leader, Tim Steele. Just goes blowing by Blaze Alexander, the 16 car, to take over.
Steele has not led a lap yet in this race. He's going to take the lead with 9 laps to go. 7th place we look back on. Damon Lusk in the 10, Jason Jarrett in the 67.
Tell you what, I've been very impressed with these young drivers today in this ARCA race. Damon Lusk, Jason Jarrett, Blaze Alexander. Blaze still a very young man. Stuart Kirby, the 20-year-old, the pole sitter that had the clutch problem.
Everybody hoping to get noticed. These super speedway races with all the Winston Cup team owners looking on can make a career. Jeremy Mayfield, an example of somebody who ran some of these ARCA races on the super speedways and got noticed.
Probably the most notable guy that used ARCA as a proving grounds, a vehicle to get in NASCAR Winston Cup was Davey Allison, who had a lot of success in the ARCA races.
But you're the king.
Yeah, that's right.
The only man to be champion of both.
Thank you, fellas. Gee, you didn't have to say that.
8 laps to go. Tell you what, Frank Kimmel is closing on the front 2 quickly. I don't think he's got enough time. He might get there, but I don't think he's got enough time to get around him. Pretty solid run for Jason Jarrett today.
If Frank Kimmel could get a caution flag, that would be exactly what he would need, because that would put him up behind those other 2 cars with much fresher tires.
The big purple monkey. Is the monkey off his back? Well, he's in 8th place right now. Considering that he went through 4 straight races where they lost an engine in the car, if he can get it to the finish today, that's probably a good day.
We can see the monkey's off his back. I saw him sitting in the chair down in the pit area.
What was the old cartoon, the big grape ape?
Oh boy, one of those new things. Red Farmer.
7 to go.
The voice of Red Farmer. He's been around this racing business for at least 55, 60 years.
So Jarrett continues his pursuit of Lusk for 7th spot.
Looks like he's got a good run on Lusk. Talking about Jarrett. Couldn't quite make it.
No change with the leader while we're watching this. Tim Steele extending his advantage a little bit on Blaze Alexander. And Frank Kimmel, after gaining about a second a lap for the first 4 or 5 laps out of the pits, that has leveled off now. And in fact, he's lost a little bit of ground.
Well, there's two things. Either something's happened to Frank Kimmel's car, or he just is saving his car in case he were to get a caution flag. Because it's obvious that he can't catch him, so he might as well just slow down, save his car. If he gets a caution flag, then he's got something more to race with than he would if he keeps running as hard as he was.
Jarrett still working on 7th spot on Lusk. Poke the nose to the outside, but except for Robert Burrows, the outside of turn 3 is not where you want to be. Going by the outside of the 38 car, Tom Erickson. Going another lap down. That'll be 2 down for Erickson. He's back in 13th place. Well, if the caution's going to do Frank Kimmel any good, it better happen quickly. Only 5 laps to go.
All right, Jarrett's really got a good run this time. Damon Lusk slipped a little bit off the flat corner. He drives away on the front stretch. Now, what were you saying about the leader?
I just say, you know, we talked a second ago about Kimmel maybe saving something in case a caution came out. But it better happen fast for him if it's gonna.
Yeah.
Only 4 laps to go. They need caution would have to happen on this lap in order to get the race restarted.
I agree. It looks like he's in big trouble.
So I think,
and I don't think he's saving anything. I think he's mad and he's driving as hard as he can right now.
Tim Steele, driven for so many years for his father Harold in this ARCA series, that very familiar red number 16. He's the all-time leading super speedway winner here. Had a couple of nasty wrecks 3 years ago that kept him on the sidelines, took him out of racing. Just when he began to break into the NASCAR Winston Cup Series, he got injured. Post-concussion syndrome just kept him on the sidelines. He drove a race here at Pocono where he had double vision. Just didn't tell anybody. That's how badly he was trying to keep going. He had to just sit for a while. Put his career back together with the family team. He's back in the ARCA series. Things are going well. Then he and his father decided that it would be best if Tim bought the race team from Dad, and Tim had to kind of step back a little bit, miss a couple of races, regroup, get his own business organized, and now he's back, and it's going very well today.
That was a terrific run here today because Blaze Alexander, the winner last week, and Frank Kimmel, you said won 5 or 6 times this year in the ARCA competition. He beat both these fellows today.
Nervous. Tim just found out his wife, Dawn, is expecting a baby. They found that out on Wednesday. Told me this morning, if we can win this race, on top of that news, what a week. Could happen. 2 to go when he comes to the stripe. You want to talk about an enviable winning percentage.
Driver, 2 to go. Two to go.
Tim Steele has entered 15 ARCA races here at Pocono. He's won 8 of them. His worst finish in those 15 races is 8th. And that was the very first time he ran here.
Yes, anyone would love to have that. All right, here we go. Jarrett finally gets alongside Damon Lusk. Lusk backs off, lets him go, and now he's going to try to drive under him.
7th spot. Determined pursuit by Jason Jarrett pays off.
All right, the slow car up there. How's it going to work?
On the bottom there.
Damon Lusk tried to use that slow car, turn under him.
Here he comes.
He's got to run. White flag is out for the leader.
All that work. Final lap for Tim Steele. Tim Steele looking for his 24th Super Speedway win in ARCA competition and his 40th victory in this series overall. That puts him third all-time for an organization that dates back to the 1940s, 1953, when ARCA was founded.
They're happy, they're clapping because they think he can see the checkered flag from there, and he can't, Alan.
Two straight at Pocono, third win of 2001. Tim Steele has taken the Pepsi ARCA 200.
Good job, guys. Good job. Thanks for never giving up, man. You guys won this thing. We all won this thing.
Talked to Tim this morning about being the owner of the team now, as Jason Jarrett still pursues Damon Lusk for 7th spot.
Well, they were right in front of the leader now. They've got to race back to get the checkered flag. What did Tim say this morning?
I talked to him about being the owner now, and he said, now I've got to worry about making payroll. This will make it a little easier this week. All right, Jason, you got him once. Can you do it again? Final corner.
He's got to hope that Damon Lusk drives it in too deep. He did not. Jason Jarrett had to drive a little bit too hard, pushed up, and Lusk will take that position.
7th spot for Damon Lusk. Jason Jarrett will come home 8th. But it's Tim Steele who'll hold the winner's trophy. His 9th victory here at Pocono. Dave Burns is with the winning team.
And Tom Sokolowski runs that winning team in the crew chief role. You know, what happens when you win something big? You're not all that excited, are you? Or is this how you get excited?
Yeah, that's about it for me. I mean, I enjoy this. This was a lot of fun for us to win this. We got behind, it looked kind of scary at the beginning. The water temperature went way up, and the oil temp from yesterday, we got a lot of rubber buildup, so we had to get in early and get it cooled down. But we knew we had a good car, and everything worked out good.
We talked about the fact you took those races off to regroup. Did that make the difference today?
That helped a little bit with getting stuff, you know, caught up and finalized and get some time to work on stuff, make sure everything was where it needed to be. Definitely helped.
And how about that driver driving through the middle of the race when he didn't have the car he liked and then coming back?
Well, that's what we expected from him. He does a good job anywhere we go.
All right, that's Tim Steele doing his victory donuts on the front straightaway now, Alan.
He's pretty good at that, isn't he?
Yes. You know what the team owner's going to learn? You have to replace a lot of parts in those engines when you rev them up like that. That's expensive. The victory celebration for Tim Steele is coming up at Pocono when we come back.
Welcome back to Pocono. Tim Steele in victory lane. He's going to climb out of the car for the 9th time. He wins at Pocono, and the HS Dive team very happy. Slinging some water. Got a kiss from wife Dawn a minute ago. Aren't you tired of winning at Pocono? This is 9 times.
You never get tired of winning, man. I don't care where it is. You never get tired. This puts a perfect ending to the weekend. You know, Wednesday when my wife and I were leaving to come here, been trying for a long time, found out she was pregnant, and with owning this whole team now and stuff, tell you what, I couldn't be happier.
Talk about the week for you guys, for Dawn, for you. This definitely the best cap to it.
Oh yeah, you can't imagine. This is the best thing in the world. You know, with everything that's gone on the past couple weeks, I just show everybody that we are back.
Talk about the effort of this crew today. The car was not to your liking early. You made the early stop, got behind. Car was overheating. You guys had to work hard today, not only hard today, but all week to get this win.
Oh, that we did, you know, and you know, let's go show that it wasn't just me driving this car that won this race. This was the whole team, the crew. We got a bad set of tires, same as last time we were here. We got a bad set of tires right in the middle of the race, and if we'd have got carried away and adjusted that set of tires, we'd be probably in the fence somewhere, or we wouldn't be right here right now. And you know, Tom kept everybody focused, and just done a super, super good job. You don't know how much this means to be able to come back here and win this race. And the motor, Harold Eatman built us this motor last time here. We wanted Robert Yates' motor, and Harold Eatman built this motor for here and done a super good job with that. It's just a whole lot of things different, but in the same place.
You took a couple weeks off. How key was that to this victory today?
I don't know if that was key to this victory or not. That was key to getting a lot of things straightened out. I don't think it was any key to winning here. You know, it was just had to get some things straightened around the shop, and with all the things that happened, to be back here, you don't know how good that feels.
Time off didn't hurt, though. Dawn got pregnant, you know, and you guys must have had a good time.
Oh, that was way before the time.
Okay, anyway. This win for you guys, you don't have to worry about making the payroll, you know, now. Since you're the car owner and all.
Too bad I didn't pay the tire bill.
Yeah, you kind of burned it up, and you'll start thinking about doing those burnouts a little more because now you're the car owner.
Well, they were used up anyway, so they still roll. They're not flat, so we're all right.
All right, a happy Steele family down here. Dawn and Tim, they win here at Pocono today.
Marty Snyder's my hero.
Go, Alan.
Yeah. You two are sitting here looking at me saying, you get to follow that.
Oh, that was great.
Attaboy, Marty. Tim Steele, a very deserving winner today here at Pocono. We'll take a break and regroup, like Tim and Dawn did, and come back. Victory celebration at Pocono for Tim Steele after winning the Pepsi ARCA 200. He passed Blaze Alexander with 9 laps to go in the race, but Blaze, top 3 finish for the 3rd straight race. Let's go hear from him.
And Alan, we've caught up with Blaze back in the garage area. And Blaze, first off, you had a great lead after that last pit stop. Was something wrong with your last set of tires, possibly?
I don't know. I mean, I thought at first maybe we got them on backwards, but that wasn't the case. I mean, the pit crew is awesome, man. We had great stops and had a big lead there, and man, a shock could have broke or something. I don't know. I don't have any answers right now, but we lost a second on that last pit stop, like when we went back out running, and man, I just hate it for, you know, Middlesworth, Lisa Express, trying to get them 2 in a row, the Grant Miller and all the guys at the Central Pennsylvania Auto Auction. All my family's here. We had a great run, and, you know, I'll take a second. You hate giving them away like that, you know, when you got the lead at the end of the race. But it's a good team. Brian Schaefer, he's almost was 2 for 2 there. It's crew chief, but we'll take second, and we're going to go to Chicago, I think, in about a month.
Your stock continues to rise. What about your future for next season?
Well, if Andre would get off his butt and get us a deal there, if we could go run the Busch race in Michigan. We're trying to do that. I think it's looking like we may be able to do it. You know, I'm trying to get back in the Busch series and just run some ARCA races, trying to stay sharp over here, test some things, and it's going pretty good. I mean, you know, we've always run strong over here. We got great guys and good equipment. Carl Wagner builds our engines. I mean, we got all the right stuff. Just this one just slipped away today from us.
It slipped away, but they certainly have a lot of momentum, Alan.
Finishes of 2nd, 1st, and 3rd in 3 races for Blaze Alexander. And Tim Steele continuing with the Winner's Circle interviews after taking the Pepsi ARCA 200. Looked like this race was going to be Frank Kimmel's. He led 61 of the 80 laps, but when he came down pit road for his final stop, things went wrong.
Got to watch the jack man. Right side is okay. Gets the car up. Everything is fine. He's late. He's late getting back. He was concentrating on getting the tire to the guy to get it back across the wall. But on the left side is where he has a problem. You see, in fumbling the jack, trying to get it under the car. We heard Bill Kimmel talk about the jack stop. That little area there on the left side was too low, and that's why he couldn't get the jack under the car.
Cost him the lead, dropped him 7 seconds behind. Eventual leader after the stops, Blaze Alexander, and Dave is with Frank Kimmel now.
And Alan, we heard Frank and his crew chief Bill talking on the radio about whether to take 2 or 4. And Frank, you had some concerns about taking 4, but you left the call up to Bill, didn't you?
Well, yeah. I mean, you win and die with your guys, and you know, they've done a great job all year, and they worked their butts off. So you know, we had a great first tire stop, got in, got back out, really good stop, got back in the lead, and what a great car the Advanced Auto Parts Ford was. It's been great all year, and thought we had them covered all day today, but had a little extended pit stop there. You know, had a few problems, but you know, I make mistakes every day, so I'm not going to say anything about those guys. They work really hard, and what a great car. I got to thank the guys. They've done a great job all year.
But you have made some changes on the crew, is that right, recently?
Yeah, there's been some changes the past month or so, and had some new guys in there, but I don't know whether the jacks started coming back down or what on that stop, but you know, I just knew it took a long time. The right side tires went really well. They got back around pretty quick, thought we was going to be in good shape, and you know, after we got 8 or 9 seconds behind there, we just rode it out. We knew we didn't have a yellow, we wasn't going to catch up, so there's no sense punishing Mabel. I got to say hi to my mom. She had a little heart problems about a week ago, and daggone, I've been trying to win a race for her since then, but I know I'm coming home safe, and so she'll be really happy. So
what's your mom's name?
It's Mabel, just like
the car.
Yeah, we named it. Yeah, she's a lot tougher than that race car, but that race car's been pretty good for me this year too.
Well, I tell you, as much as he loves his mom, he loves that race car. I asked him when he was down here, is that still the best car you've ever had here at Pocono? He said, yep, I can't wait to take it to Nashville. Alan?
Frank Kimmel will hang on to his point lead in the ARCA Series, but finishes third behind Tim Steele and Blaze Alexander in the Pepsi ARCA 200. We're back in a minute. Back at Pocono Raceway in the aftermath of the Pepsi ARCA 200, won by Tim Steele. Got the lead when Frank Kimmel, the dominant driver of the race, had problems on his final pit stop. As far as the championship is concerned in the ARCA Series, we talked about Kimmel holding on to his point lead. He's got a new closest pursuer. Let's hear from him. He's with Marty.
And that is Andy Belmont, who finished 12th. And I tell you what, for a guy who lost a clutch in first, second, and fourth gear in one exchange on lap 26, your day turned out okay.
Well, it's just one of them deals where the car breaks, you got to take what it gave us. You know, about lap 26 there, we were just riding like, you know, everybody tells you that story. We had a great car, we were riding, but we were doing along pretty decent, and we just lost high gear. And I got way out of it. I thought it blew the motor, but then I put it back in overdrive, and the thing shook so bad, I mean, just couldn't hardly hang on to the car. So got it back in third and got going again and switched ignitions and did all the things you normally do from inside the car. And picked it up, but then I realized when the caution came out, I didn't have first and second either. So that was a real treat when we made our pit stop. And then
tell me about that pit stop. How much fun was that?
The pit stop was a treat because you know, I'm sitting there, you know, you got no other gears, and then you had to smoke the devil out of the clutch to get it going. So as life would have it, we lost the clutch too. So you know, if there'd have been another caution, we'd been real hurting. But you know, 12th's okay today. You know, it's a long season, and another top 15 for us. I don't think we finished out of the top 15 but once all year, and we're second in points now. So you know, we'll fix it for Nashville, and Lord willing, we'll get this, show the other guys our taillights.
I guess the biggest thing is second in points. That was the key coming in today for you.
You know, it's really strange at this point in the season. You know, you want to win races and everything, but I tell you, I've never been under this kind of pressure before. And, you know, you go, wow, you can come into the race and you're points racing. And we're talking on the radio, where did the 67 car finish? And how many laps did Timmy lead? And who got the bonus points? And, you know, it changes how you look at things. And it's it makes you a little bit more forgiving of guys when they stick their nose up under you. You know, let them have the spot because you're going to get it back later. And but I tell you, I never in a million years thought I'd feel the pressure, but I feel it. I mean, Frank's going to, you know, unless he really stubs his toe bad, Frank's going to be a three-time champion, and more power to him. But I'm happy to be able to, at least at this point, be second with the AOL car.
A lot of drama for Andy Belmont today, but the key word for him, they survived.
And the ARCA Championship standings. With 10 races to go in the season, you see Kimmel with a huge lead on Belmont and Tim Steele. We're back at Pocono after this on TNT. The Pepsi ARCA 200 here at Pocono. This is tomorrow. Ricky Rudd going to be one of the contenders to win the Pennsylvania 500. Jeff Gordon pursuing him as Jarrett and Gordon are tied for the championship. Rudd 6 weeks ago broke through with Robert Yates Racing finally to score his first victory with that team. And Ricky is on everyone's mind as the favorite to win the Pennsylvania 500. 12:30 Eastern Time tomorrow here on TNT. Let's go to Liz Allison.
I'm with Jason Jarrett, who started 4th today. Jason, you gave a good run right there at the end for 7th.
Yeah, Damon and myself had a good race going there. I just got messed up on not the pit stop, but the run before our last pit stop there. I was a little bit too loose getting into one, and then we had a great pit stop, and that allowed me to catch up to the 19 and the 10 car. But we're making progress. We had a few bad weeks there for 3 or 4 weeks, and last week we had a good run, and now we moved back in the top 10. So maybe at Nashville we'll move back into the top 5.
So do you feel like the monkey's helping to get the old monkey off the back?
I told them they better not forget that thing the rest of the year. So, you know, I'm speaking on behalf of, you know, our team and Biomet and Coca-Cola and Damon RVs. So we need that monkey to stay off.
Well, we talked to your dad during the race, and he was pretty calm, and he was keeping a good eye on you, though.
Yeah, he was on the radio and doing some coaching for me. I'll tell you, he really helped me being able to get into turn 1. He gave me a few pointers on staying out a little wider than what I was there, and stuff like that, man. It's just it's invaluable. You can't replace it.
Jason Jarrett finishes 8th today. Alan?
His dad Dale's got his work cut out for him tomorrow. He's going to start 37th.
Yeah, we talked about Ricky Rudd at the very top of this segment we're doing, and I think he's on the minds of Dale Jarrett, Jeff Gordon, and anyone else that wants to win this race tomorrow. I think they all know they've got to go through the 28 car, Ricky Rudd. And there they are, parked side by side.
Yates teammates racing for the championship. Jarrett, Rudd, Gordon, all featured players in the Pennsylvania 500. That's tomorrow here at Pocono on TNT.
This copyrighted telecast may not be reproduced, retransmitted, or used in any form without the authorized written consent of NASCAR Broadcasting. NASCAR would like to thank all of our loyal fans for your continued support, and we hope you enjoyed today's broadcast.
Here at Pocono, the Pepsi ARCA 200 is over. Take a look back at the highlights of the event. This is Jason Hudleski and Junie Donlevy's Ford for a crash in turn number 1, bringing out one of a couple of early cautions. No caution for this one, but a close call for Ron Cox of Tennessee. Spun out off of turn number 2, but managed to not hit anything or get hit by anyone. A lot of attrition in this race. Almost third of the field failed to finish. Richard Mitchell out with an engine problem. Stuart Kirby, the pole sitter, gone with a clutch failure on his Bob Shackstone machine. Turning point of the race, Frank Kimmel dominated, leading some 61 of the 80 laps, but with 16 to go, he came down pit road for a stop. They had problems up with the jack. He lost the lead to Blaze Alexander. Then Alexander in the 91, pursued by Tim Steele in the 16. Watch this. Steele 3 wide around the lap car and around Alexander to take the lead. From there, Steele pulled away over the final laps to score the victory. His 9th here at Pocono Raceway in 16 tries in the ARCA Series. And after a trying couple of weeks in which he had to reorganize his team, Tim Steele comes away with the victory. 6 lead changes, only a couple of cautions, very clean race, and you see 15 of the 40 starters failed to finish. Dave Burns.
Alan, earlier you were talking about drivers that make their mark in ARCA and then go on to do greater things. Well, I'm standing by here with Dion Ciccarelli, and Dion's one of those drivers who drove late models in Virginia and did all that kind of stuff, and then ran into an owner that wanted to do bigger and better things. And here he is in his 4th ARCA race, your 3rd and your best finish, really, since you've been able to finish. Dion, tell us what you learned out there today.
I was, the operation for this today was just come out and get some experience, finish all 80 laps. I mean, we had some pretty high expectations based on our qualifying run, but we're real happy with our top 10 finish.
You had a pretty good motor builder helping you out, coaching you on as crew chief too, didn't you?
I mean, that's Charlie Long's horsepower makes up for my inexperience. I mean, he's helped us a lot as a crew chief, gives us some advice when we come to the racetrack, so I can't say enough about him and his motors. And Rich Williams also gave me a great opportunity to drive his race cars, and he's pretty much funding and backing the whole ARCA operation.
Now, when we first saw the entry, we looked at Dion Ciccarelli, and we said, wait, it's not Dino Ciccarelli, is it? I mean, do you ever get that confused? People ever confuse that?
All the time. Same spelling, everything's the same. I never met him, would love to meet him, but I don't know if he's related or not.
You ever sign any autographs on his behalf?
Now, my brother tried to get me to do a few of those, but no, I didn't do it.
Yeah, well, Alan, you know hockey, and Dion here, he doesn't look like much of a hockey player, does he?
Oh, I don't know. I think he could pass for one. He's tough enough. You better be careful. If he is a hockey player, he's going to slug you.
I might get checked here. And by the way, what a great finish. He ran all day. They started 10th and finished 9th, and he did what he needed to do. He finished laps today. That's Dion Ciccarelli.
And the other Dion, longtime player in the National Hockey League for a variety of teams, including the Minnesota North Stars.
I thought he was a jack man for a Winston Cup car. Doggone.
I thought he was on an Italian restaurant somewhere.
Okay. That's enough of this conversation. We'll come back to Pocono in just a moment. Tim Steele has won the Pepsi ARCA 200. The Pepsi ARCA 200 on TNT is brought to you by Applebee's Neighborhood Grill and Bar. Eating good in the neighborhood. Applebee's. And by Remax. Outstanding agents, outstanding results. Crowd filing out after today's ARCA competition, as well as NASCAR Winston Cup final practice, which you saw earlier today on TNT. And we come back now for some final thoughts, looking ahead to tomorrow's Pennsylvania 500, presented by Pep Boys. All right, Hotshot, you were out in the race car this morning. What are we looking for tomorrow? What kind of race are we going to see?
You're going to see a great race. It's the same as everything here. You're going to try to get the car through 1 and 2 and 3 and not push in any one of those corners more than the rest. So I think the car that I drove this morning, car feels really good. They're going to work on it, getting through turn 2 better, but I think Kevin's going to have a good race car to work with tomorrow. And it's going to be fun. This is a fun place to race. It's wide. You're going to get 4 or 5 breaths down the straightaway. It's going to be a blast.
Kevin Harvick starting well in 6th position. And Benny, that race for the championship continues to take center stage.
It really does. And we've got a great battle for that championship. Ricky Rudd chasing Dale Jarrett and Jeff Gordon tied for the Winston Cup points lead, but Rudd just 28 points behind. Wally, I talked to some guys today down in the garage area, and they said they were going to work on the north end of the racetrack, especially turn 3, and try to get the car mechanically through that and let the driver worry about the other 2 corners.
I agree. That's the right move. That's what we did. We concentrated on turn 3, and I think the car is really, really fast through turn 3. You have to be a little bit free getting off of 3, so you got the straightaway speed getting down to 1, and I think we're pretty good there.
You think we're going to be able to handle him? He's been in a Richard Childress car.
I know it.
Think we're going to be able to keep him under check now?
Well, it cost me.
Yeah, it sure did. There's turn 3 we've been talking about. So flat, so long.
And you know what? It looks flat. But when you drive out there or you walk out there, that racetrack has a lot of banking on it. But in a race car, it almost acts like the corner falls off to the right.
That is amazing that you can take 6 degrees of banking and in the race car feel like that you're falling out of the seat, that you're just way over there. That's not the way it feels, isn't it?
You're really falling out of that seat.
You need to get to the gym and work on that some.
Sorry.
Yeah, it felt like it was a hockey game. So the championship, Jeff Gordon and Dale Jarrett tied atop the standings. Jarrett with the tiebreaker, 1 more victory than Gordon, but Jarrett starts back in 37th position tomorrow. He's got to be so concerned about not getting caught up in an early lapse wreck before he can make his way up through the field.
I don't think that's going to be a problem. I think if you've got a good car, you're going to run good, you're going to get through traffic quick. He's got a lot of horsepower. I think he's going to be up there in no time, Benny Parsons.
Can you believe it? Can you believe it? Folks, we're talking about a guy starting 37th. His competition up in the top 10. It's a huge problem for him. Alan, go.
Not a problem. No. Not a problem.
We'll find out tomorrow when we bring you the Pennsylvania 500 here on TNT. Tim Steele scored the victory in the Pepsi ARCA 200. Coming up next on NBC, it's the NASCAR Busch Series in the Napa Auto Care 250. Kevin Harvick got to start last in that field. Then tomorrow, 12:30 Eastern Time, the Pennsylvania 500 Sudden Impact with Clint Eastwood and Sandra Locke is next. For Benny and Wally, I'm Alan. Thanks for joining us for our coverage from Pocono today. We'll see you tomorrow at 12:30 Eastern.